As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be
Oh
a
man,
home
it's
run.
8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a...
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
BravBros.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of BravBros, your favorite podcast from the bros for everybody, for whoever wants to listen. I am your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Shooter Magooter. Shoots, what's up, dude?
Well, actually, yes, a whole lot. We had an eventful week for the podcast. Had a nice little interview today that we will tease later.
You don't want to tease it now. I think we're supposed to get
There's
better
so
at
much
plugs.
stress and pressure on doing everything up front that now I'm I kind of want to save a little bit of nuggets for later, see how that goes. But yeah, no, I mean we had a good day. We talked to a Bravo celebrity,
We did.
and we're just trying to branch out, getting the word out about the BravBros. We want people to come on the show to give to you guys, the listeners, because we're not really pulling any punches. If your show sucks, we're going to tell you your show sucks. And there's your hint right there.
Well, that's actually kind of how it happened, because this certain person that came on the show today had something to say about a video that we posted, and we're really glad he did, because it was a wonderful interview. He's a wonderful guy, and we'll let you know who it is later. Stay tuned.
And it's going to be random as hell.
You might have noticed the cough. I am battling something, and I don't know if it's allergies, because I never got allergies till last year.
You don't think you have the black lung, Pa?
It might be the black lung, Pop. But no, it's just I got this little tickle in my throat all day, and it's driving me nuts. But I got my Phillies jersey on. We're getting close to opening day, dude. We watched the World Baseball Classic the other night. I don't know if you watched it. It was Japan versus the U.S. It was an awesome game.
Yep.
So I'm jacked up. So I can't wait to get down to Citizens Bank, watch some ball games, go to some day games this year.
I love it. It's so funny because I get excited, and this is the first time that I've been excited for a Philly season. And guess what, everybody? We're talking about sports.
Sports.
We're back.
We're back.
We took maybe a month hiatus after the Eagles. Whatever happened at the end of the season, I actually forget.
I forget what happened.
But the funny thing about early, and anybody who's on in the Northeast or maybe even in the Pacific Northwest, you get excited for baseball to come around, and you're like, all right, I got to get to a game within the first couple of weeks, and it's so fucking cold. And
I know, that's true.
But it's so funny because I will go to Eagles games in January, and I will layer up and expect it and be there all day in the the parking lot tailgating, then go to the game, and I'll be like, really wasn't that cold. But it's April 15th, and I refuse to put on anything more than a light jacket.
Yep.
And I will complain about the cold the entire time.
Yep. Well,
it is so funny.
As a former baseball player, I think that it should be illegal to play the game of baseball under 65 degrees. None of the players want to be there. I'm telling you right now, when it's that cold, nobody wants to play. It hurts your hands.
Stinger in your hands.
Oh, it's the fucking worst. You slide and it feels like the ground is made out of concrete. It's just not a good time. The fans aren't having fun. It's just, let's start the season a month later. That's what I think.
Well, I feel for the majority of teams, either they're in a dome or it is 65 or higher.
Not for us.
No, not for us.
Not for us. As Shooter said, it was an eventful week. I feel like things keep speeding up for us, which is a lot of fun. It's a lot to keep up with, but we're really enjoying it. So without further ado, let's get right into it, because we have a ton to talk about tonight.
Yeah, let's go Rosie Thorny.
Rosie Thorny time. So I'm going to start out this week, because I don't think I've gone first in a while, because I've been in a mood. All right, this whole Scandoval thing has really fucked me up.
It's okay.
I know, we're getting
Safe
through
space.
it. Safe space. But my thorn, I had originally had a thorn, and I have since changed my thorn, because while we were sitting here, we got a message request, and I clicked it, and Dev sent me the picture of her with our guest. I guess it's not really a secret. We put it online already. It's on Instagram.
Yeah, but it's still fun.
Okay, cool. So Dev sent me the picture that she took with this guy at an event. And she sent it to me, and she thought it'd be funny. I thought it was funny too if I posted that picture. I was here's my wife with this guy. So ask him questions.
Yeah.
A lot of people message us saying, wow, Steele's wife is gorgeous. Tell me something I don't know. But this one person, and this comment always makes me laugh, because it's a backhanded compliment.
Yeah.
And I'll read the name. It's from Morgan Jane. on Instagram. And she just goes, steal out kicking his coverage. Way to go, bud.
I love that. Like you just said it. Like I'm sure you probably get it too. And when I think I posted a picture of like Colleen and I when we got engaged or something. Somebody reached out to me from college, and I hadn't talked to this guy in like 12 years. And he goes, "Nice man, out kicking your coverage." And I told Colleen, and Colleen's like, "That's nice for me. That's kind of mean for you."
Yeah,
like
it's like
it is, but like at the same time, it's like you're damn straight. Like
yeah, no,
all
you're right.
I'm fine
You're
with
right.
that.
Yeah, she's way hotter than me, and I'm cool with that.
I fully recognize that, and I'm cool with it.
Moving on to my rose. So I would say that's like a rosy thorn. That's not a
Yeah.
thorn. That's a rosy thorn. So my full rose comes from iTunes. We got another nice review, and it's short, it's sweet, to the point. 5 stars. It says, fantastic. Chef's kiss. 5 stars. No notes. That's my kind of review. Coco Teens.
Wow, we're really getting into this early. You reading the names wrong.
Coco Mountains. That's what I read. Coco, Colorado Mountains.
I like that.
Oh, I
Yeah,
got it.
Could be that.
Okay, I had to work it out.
Could
But
be that.
yeah, thank you. Chef's kiss. Mwah. We appreciate that.
All right. Well, I'll just jump right into mine. I'm going to start off with my thorn. Also short and sweet, and I have no issues reading this username because it was dog cat owl or something, and I clicked on the profile and there's like following 1,000 people, 0 followers.
Okay.
It's like, all right, so I know what you do, and it was about
I know who you are.
It was about our summer house video about me complaining about the show being boring, and all it said was, then just like don't watch it then? Question mark.
I hate
It's
when
like,
people comment
what the
that.
fuck? Like, do you understand? And also, there's another thorn. I'm going to throw this one out here too. We got a review that just said enough of the cursing.
Oh,
But
yeah.
still gave
I
us
saw
5
that one,
stars,
too.
and it's like
Well, I appreciated that one only because it said, let's class it up just a little bit, guys.
just a little bit, and I get that, and I feel like we've been doing a pretty good job.
Like here,
I don't know.
I'm glad you brought this up because I want to address this. I want our listeners to understand it is not intentional. When an F-bomb is dropped or a shit or anything along those lines, I promise you we're not going into this with the intention of saying cuss words.
No.
We get emphatic and we say things. And I grew up in a minor league clubhouse. My dad was a minor league manager for like my whole childhood. So
Your dad managed the Pirates, which is funny because you talk like a pirate.
That's right. There you go. So my dad managed
Cussing
the
like a
Pirates, and I
sailor.
cuss like a sailor. So it's not intentional. I actually have made a conscious effort. That should show you how bad my mouth is. I've made a conscious effort to say less cuss words, and I still say a lot. But I appreciate that she gave us 5 stars still.
Yeah.
Because it could have went south.
That's a really good point. My rose, this one was on Twitter after we posted that summer house video. This comes from Kirill Adke.
You're a fucking idiot.
Says, thanks for the support, bro. Happy to come on your podcast and talk about your frustrations. It was from Carl Radke. He came on today. We talked about it. We're going to drop it next week. Be on the lookout Monday night, I think, maybe Tuesday morning.
Oh my God.
We're going to drop the full interview. See, I was being selfish, but I had a good play.
That was really
It
funny.
was a good rollout.
It was a good rollout.
So yes, we talked to Carl today for about an hour, just talked about all of our frustrations. He was very cool. Based on that comment, Steele and I were like, ooh, it might be a little sarcastic.
Yeah,
He might
but
give us a little shit here. Crap. You might give us a little crap
A
here.
little crap here. We'll work on it. That's kind of what I appreciated about it because we started it out and we addressed it immediately. That was the first thing that we talked about was the video, his comment. His response was great. He's like, look, I don't usually comment back. I just like to troll on Twitter every once in a while. And I've seen you guys around. I've liked what you've been doing. So I thought I would just kind of razz you a little bit and see if you guys would comment back, if you would like give me the chance to come on the show and talk about it. So he was actually like planting a seed and it totally worked. And I'm really glad it did. I'm excited for you guys to hear this interview. I think it went extremely well. We got a lot of questions out there. We had the chance to really kind of dive into a lot of the frustrations that I think we've all been having, and his answers were really good.
Yeah, no, I mean, pretty much, and we're going to save, obviously, all of the real information for next week when you guys have to listen to it, which you have to listen to.
You have to listen to it.
You jerks.
We're failing miserably.
Yeah, I know, this is brutal. But no, it was great. And look, it's not going to be the Chris Bassett video that went on for 2.5 hours because it was short, sweet. I think it was a little less than an hour, maybe an hour.
Yeah.
And we covered everything that we wanted to cover. And we covered everything that you guys want to cover too.
Yeah, we got your questions in too.
And that's the other thing is Carl he just seems like he understands what is going on with the show currently and how people feel about watching the show. Like, he definitely read the comments. I was reading through the comments. People supported us. They supported, our opinion on what the show is and how boring it is. And he hears them and he says, look, like, one, the rest of this season's going to be better.
He did say, look, we're only 6 episodes.
That's it. And two, like, he understands the frustrations. So it was very real. It was cool. It was very cool to hear his perspective on things,
Yes.
both, inside production as well as kind of like where his mindset is throughout the season and how his relationships are going. So be on the lookout for that one because that was a lot of fun for us to do. And Carl is now one of the bros.
Yep, we got an official new BravBro on the team, and you can find that interview. I'm going to drop it immediately after Summer House on Monday night, so you can listen to it as soon as you watch the episode. You can either dive in or save it for the morning, maybe the morning commute to work. Unless you work from home, then you can just take the morning commute to your toilet post coffee.
I was going to say coffee too, but that's good.
Yeah, now you got to put the two together. That's how you start the day.
There you go.
Let's get into the news now. We're going to keep it short so we can get to the shows. I think the first thing and the most important thing, everybody's talking about it, Rachel, a.k.a. Raquel. Oh, can we talk about that real quick?
Do we have to? Yeah.
Just
sure.
how many people got upset at the fact that we're calling her Rachel and then claiming we didn't call Lala Lauren. No, we did call Lala Lauren. Lauren, by the way, is a mainstay on the show now. I will use Lauren from here on out after her performance in this most recent episode, just because Rachel did what she did doesn't excuse Lauren for being an asshole the whole time.
And those are the people that don't listen to the show too, which you said something earlier about like, oh, people saw something on Instagram. How many people did we have on Instagram that were like, I don't understand like who these guys are, or like listen to the show. You'll
Just
figure it
listen to the
out,
show.
get to know us, and maybe you'll like us. But yeah, no, we use government names now for people we don't like.
Yep, I like this. I like this trend, and I like that people get upset about it because who the fuck cares?
Yeah,
But
seriously.
anyway, Rachel and Scheana will both be at the reunion. We're getting a full cast in person, which I think is one, going to be great TV, but two, I need to know how this is going to work. I need to know the setup. Like, are they going to have Rachel behind, like, I'm imagining they're going to have
Bulletproof glass.
like a penalty box, like a hockey penalty box. They're going to
That's
stick
funny
her
you
in the
say that because
penalty
I was
box.
imagining like an X-ray technician behind like 3 inches of glass.
Or like the Pope.
You're safe.
They're going to drive
the
around the
little
Pope
Pope-mobile. That'd be great, little Rachel mobile. But and I did see like they're working out the logistics, whether that means that because I think the restraining order was originally like 1,000 feet or something. So obviously that's not really going to work. And if they try to do some like phone in, but you're still in the studio or whatever, just figure it out and do the best that you can. At least we can have them interact. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
need
And
the
I don't want
interaction.
that like that Diana zooming in bullshit where she says that she's sick. At least have her like there and like full glam and like talking to other people because you know what we're going to get. And we see it with Miami, the behind the scenes, like when they're with their glam team and getting, their makeup redone or whatever, you see them kind of commingling and talking.
Yeah.
You're not going to see Rachel and Scheana talk,
Mm-mm.
but you'll see Rachel maybe interact with whoever's still on her side. I just can't imagine
There's
who
nobody
is.
except Scandoval.
You might see her with Sandoval though.
Holy
like,
shit! What if they stick them both on a love seat?
oh God,
Please, Andy,
that would be hilarious.
set the world on fire.
God, that would be hilarious. But that's going to be great. And I'm glad that they're at least figuring it out and not just doing like a special third part with a one-on-one with Andy and Raquel. It's like, no, nobody wants to
We're
see that.
sick
Like
of the one-on-ones.
one-on-ones are dumb and they're played out. They were never, they should have never been played to begin with.
They were never
They're
played
out.
in. No.
Yeah. Never played in, always played out.
The next thing is much happier news, and that is Martina Navratilova, cancer-free. Not only did she beat breast cancer, she also beat throat cancer.
Yep.
So
2-0.
2-0, no surprise. She was a fucking legend back on the tennis. She still is. Like, I absolutely love their relationship. I love seeing Martina on the screen. I think she's wonderful. I think that her and Julia have like flourished after, like, you know what I really liked about their storyline this year?
What's that?
There was actual like a character arc. Like Julia had in the beginning, she was a mess because she was an empty nester and she had all these things that she needed to address. Martina wanted her to change some things. They work together. They come together. They have that beautiful dinner. Like, you see this actual growth out of a character on the show. And you don't get that very often.
No, I
Not
mean,
only-
we complain about the people who just don't have personal storylines.
Right.
And here you have maybe the most personal storyline with kind of developing a relationship after your kids move out and you have to focus on, what makes your partner happy
Mhm.
rather than just what makes you happy, or looking at your family as a whole. Like, no, you still have to make sure that the romance is still there and everything. And like, we watched them go through it, and we watched Julia realize that, and we watched Martina kind of fight to stay in it. And now obviously this happens and now she beats it. Like, watching Julia on the reunion, she talks about Martina with so much love now. And maybe in the beginning of this season specifically, it wasn't really there. She was always talking about her kids, and like
Yeah.
she was sad that her kids were moving out. And like, now I have to be with Martina. It's like, no, now you're happy that Martina's here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's cool to see that because we don't get to see many real storylines like that. So that one really played out nicely.
I agree. So I'm stoked. Congratulations, Martina. The bros are always on your side. We're rooting for you all the way. But that was awful. That takes us to Vanderpump, and I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. My whole entire life has been consumed by this show. I hear it at work. I hear it when I come home. It's on TV. Anytime I open any social media, it's all, even on like my personal Instagram, it still pops up because it's so captivating and people are still talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't get away from the show. And previously, I would have been stoked about that because I love Vanderpump. But now, like, when I said last week I needed a vacation, like, I genuinely just need like a weekend,
Yeah.
just no screens.
That's really funny because we actually, and here's another plug for you. We were on the Kate Casey show.
Oh yeah,
And Kate was great. And Kate was talking to us about specifically how much of your social media is now consumed by Bravo or
Mhm.
just reality TV. And if you had asked us maybe 2-3 weeks ago, it would have been like, on our personals, not a whole lot,
No,
because we do like bounce between the actual BravBros social medias, whatever we're doing, to get our information and keep track of things that are going on. And obviously it's good. But now it's crazy. And so many people that I didn't know watched Vanderpump at all were tweeting about it, were posting stories about it on Instagram on my personal side. And you're right, like it's inescapable. It's crazy.
I had a client at the gym, and he doesn't watch any reality TV. He barely watches TV. And he walked into the gym, and I shit you not, the first thing he says is like, "All right, man, you got to get me up to speed on Scandoval?" Question mark. And I was like, "Fuck."
How much time do you have?
Yeah, sit down, buddy. We're not working out today. We're going to talk. But let's dive right into it. So we get the tail end of boys' night, and I got to give James props here. He texts Allie immediately. He's like, "Hey, Raquel just crashed." And she goes, "Then leave."
Yep.
And he kind of sits there for a little bit, kind of feeling it out. And he does, in fact, get up and go. And we see moments later, like he's at Sir, and Rachel, like yanks him aside and says, "Hey, I noticed you left. Like, I just want to make sure everything's okay. One, not your place.
Yep.
You are no longer together. And two, he did a great job there too. He was very, very professional about it. He was nice, but not too nice. He was just getting the points out and being kind of like, all right, get away. Like, this isn't appropriate." And when she yanked him aside, I was like, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, why are you checking in with this man? He's no longer your problem."
No, and it was crazy to see, like, if you've listened to our previous episodes, just me talking about James and getting into like who he is, watching him now, I'm like, good for James. Like, that's a great move. He's not like calling Allie crying, or Allie's calling him and like, you gotta leave, you gotta leave. Like, he immediately feels uncomfortable.
Yep. And he
And
bounced.
he has a really good point. Like, this was supposed to be boys' night. Like, the girls are having their fun somewhere else.
Not really, but yeah.
They're not. That was not fun. No fun was to be had up there. God, I don't want to get to that, but
No, we're
whatever.
getting there.
And now you're going out with your boys to go celebrate, or I guess now celebrate Schwartz's divorce, which is still so weird to me, celebrating divorce, but they're going out to just kind of like blow off some steam, have some fun, not think about like personal issues that are going on. And then his ex shows up.
Yep.
And like, what do you want him to do? And the fact that he immediately tells somebody who he thinks he's comfortable with, Schwartz, like, "Hey man, like, I thought it was supposed to be boys' night. Like, I can't be here. Raquel's here." And Schwartz is like, "Oh man, like really? Like, you gotta like, yeah, like understand that. Like, you were supposed to just go out with the guys and not have to deal with this shit." And now his ex walks through the door completely uninvited. So we probably think that Sandoval's texting Raquel, being like, "Oh yeah, you should come out and hang out with us." And here he is, and he's like, I gotta go. Like, I'm uncomfortable. I'm just gonna leave.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see, and like maybe he did get props, but I wanted to see Allie the next day or in her confessional just be like, look, like that was big of James, because I couldn't see James doing that. Like, I could see James getting in a screaming match with Raquel in front of everybody, but I couldn't see him just quietly getting up and being like, "This isn't for me," and leaving.
Yeah, no, it was a very mature move out of him, and I
hmm
think we've seen, let's not give him too much grace here. He still is James Kennedy,
Right.
but to see growth is impressive, and especially given his past, the fact that he can get up and just excuse himself. Tip of the
Big.
cap, sir.
Yeah.
Tip of the cap. But we're getting to it now, buddy. And I wrote in my notes, number 2, sad Havasu house. But
That's not specifically the part.
no,
And you don't even know what it is.
I think I know.
All right.
I'm pretty sure I know. But let's get to it. I'm gonna, before I say anything about it, I'm gonna give you a thumbs up, and that's when I think you're gonna be not happy. All right.
Okay.
So we have a suitor coming over for Lala. Finally, Lala is gonna get laid. And look, we may feel a certain way about Lauren. We may have our issues with her. We're not here telling anybody not to go have some fun, not to like get out there, whatever you need to do. It's been a long time. Your last one was Randall. You deserve it. Sure. No problem. Here's my thumbs up, buddy, because I know exactly what your problem is. This man sits on the couch and talks dirty to Lala in front of everybody.
Oh, I have a problem with that, but that's not my problem.
Okay, well, can we talk about that? Because what the hell? I was so uncomfortable watching this man sit there and talk about the honey dripping out of his comb in his ear, referencing other things.
Mm-hmm.
And look, can we have a little bit of class in front of everybody?
My problem with, and this isn't my my problem that I'm referencing, but he walks in and it's just the three of them, right? And Christina Kelly goes over and gives him a hug.
Oh,
And they're talking, and then it's just three of them sitting on a couch with this guy that Lauren just met tonight, and they're just hanging out, and then he's doing that. Like, this girls' trip is awful.
it's a disaster.
It's disgusting.
It's a disaster.
And he makes a joke right away and says, "I have to wash the BJs off."
yeah,
of me."
what? This is the guy that we pick. Like,
I honestly had no idea who's gonna walk through that door. Like, this is Pawn Stars.
that was the bucket hat guy.
Oh, so he should have kept the bucket hat
He
on.
should have
because
kept
hair
his
looked like
haircut
shit.
was insane. But my whole thing with it was like, and I'm assuming it was a production thing. Like, yeah, you're gonna have to chill down here and like chat with these ladies before you go do your business.
Mhm.
But like, why? Like, Lala, take this man. You know what he's there for. Like, go upstairs, do your business. Like, that's why you called him. That's why you texted him to come over. Like, go handle your shit. And like, I don't want to see this interaction where this dude is creepily saying this. However, I got to give him props. And if this is what you're upset with, I'm going to laugh even harder. When he says, don't get nervous when you're about to be serviced, I was like, wow, that was a good line.
That was a good line. That's not my problem. Do you know what his name is?
The Don?
The Don.
I thought it was La Don.
No,
It's The Don?
The Don.
That's your problem.
That's my problem.
There's your
I think his name's Don.
Oh, she calls him.
I think she calls him the Don. I'm pretty sure his name is Don.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Because I heard him say Don, and I heard other people say Don, and then I heard Lauren say the Don
So she just,
multiple times.
but she says it so casually.
Mhm.
That's why I thought it was La Don.
I don't think so.
The Don. Oh, boo. Oh, I would have been livid.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
glad I didn't catch that because I had to then sit
I don't.
there.
This is the other thing with this. I don't even care if I'm wrong. That guy was disgusting.
He was just, he's the kind of guy you'd pick up.
He's the guy that would call himself the Don.
He's the kind of guy you would pick up in Lake Havasu in Arizona
In a
at
place
bar
called
called
BJ's.
BJ's. Yeah, that's exactly the type. But look, she has herself some fun. I didn't need to hear it in that kind of detail.
No.
Like, don't come downstairs and say I had to sleep on the floor because the sheets were so wet. Just come down and say, even if you want to be like kind of vulgar about it, like, yeah, he dicked me down pretty good. High five, ladies. Like, that would be different. You were slightly ahead of me because I was FaceTiming Poppy when the episode started, so I started a little bit late. We recorded it, so you texted me, if you back up this fucking tarot or this card thing, like something along those lines, and I hadn't seen it yet. As soon as I got to the scene, look, we've talked about it before. We've gotten into the signs, the astrology, all of that stuff, okay? And it is people like Allie that make it difficult for people like us to take this shit seriously.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't sit there. If you want to say that you're a Pisces or you're an Aries or a Virgo or whatever, and that you feel a certain way, some kind of connection to your sign, fine. I'm not going to sit here and debate it. I don't really care. If that's how you feel, great. I'm not here to tell you what to do. But if you sit there and tell me that James is in the 15th moon of the second Sunday of an Aquarius moon spirit, and you're in the hidden house behind the hen house, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't believe you. It makes you sound silly. And then I have to sit there and watch this man flip a deck of cards and tell us how much in love you guys are and how perfect you guys are for each other. And Twin Flame comes up, and James Kennedy hasn't heard that until recently. It turns out why? Because fucking Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox have coined this term. So everybody's saying it. It's the most popular term around at the time because those two were so polarizing and nobody could get enough of them. So no, it's not like, holy shit, this is so unique. We're Twin Flame, babe. Let me touch your hair one more fucking time and kiss your fucking cheek.
Yeah, it was tough to watch him do that, but I honestly think that he was very uncomfortable being there and dealing with all of that going on in front of him, and he didn't care. Like, he was bored.
Oh,
and I think that's what he was. I think he is honestly, like, when I think of James Kennedy and like the way he shows affection like that, I think of like a 4-year-old who's bored at the supermarket and will just like start climbing on his mom. You know what I mean? Like, he's bored as shit. Like, he doesn't care about any of this. None of this means anything. Like, he tried to show a little bit of interest and gets Machine Gun fucking Kelly and Megan Fox, and he's like, oh, okay, let me just like play with your hair and kiss your face because I'm uncomfortable and I want to leave. Honestly, I found out that I am an Aquarius on my 7th house, which is a mobile home in Alabama. And
what are you talking about? You had me for a second. Did you look it up?
No, absolutely
I
not.
don't even know how to look it up.
And the funniest part about that whole thing, when Allie's talking about it, she's like, yeah, all the whatever 12th house, which is actually the hidden house. It's like, that means that I guard my secrets. It's like, then what did the first like 17 words that you said mean? Like, that means nothing. Hidden house, and then you hide secrets. That makes sense.
Yeah.
What about the other 50 fucking things that you threw out there?
No, it's 15.
I don't care.
She's in the 15th house.
Whatever. I thought it was 12.
How many houses are in the neighborhood?
That's a really good question. And what do these other houses look like? And can we live there?
Can we live in the second Pisces moon house? Because I want to be there.
I think we could.
That sounds like a good time.
I think we could. I think that house sounds like it has a star projector that plays on loop. And I don't really want to be there, actually.
We could do this for another 2 hours.
Yeah.
Let's move on. We're at Pump with Memo, which...
sick name.
What a name.
Great name.
As soon as I saw the screen, I was like, please don't be pronounced Memo and be pronounced Memo. And of course, it's fucking Memo. It was great. But we get a meeting. Sandy shows up and double fists Froze and beer at like 12 in the afternoon.
God.
Of course he does. But Lisa's talking to them about their Schwartz and Sandy situation and trying to see if they want the buyout. And respect to them, they actually made the right decision and said no. Now, here's my problem. She offers to buy out Greg. Why would you not take that? This is somebody you know has success. This is somebody that you trust. It's somebody that knows the area better than any. Like, she's going to do a better job than Greg.
Absolutely. And I think they're honestly just stuck and they don't know what to do because they don't know what to do. Like, that's the real thing. And then you get Scandoval sitting there being this like cool, like mean-spirited businessman yelling about like, we're going to open when I said we're going to open, but also we have to go to this wedding. So like, we got to postpone it a little bit. Like, where are your priorities?
Bro,
you're taking forever to open this. Lisa Vanderpump's telling you should have opened a long time ago. You have to open the doors to make money. You can't make everything perfect. They're talking about how much money they're going to need. And they're like 40, 50, 60. I don't know. And they don't know. That's the whole thing, is like, they say all these things out loud. And at the end of the day, they have zero idea what they need to do to make this a success. And it's never going to be a success, especially now, but they don't know what the hell they're doing.
But it cracks me up when it's juxtaposed to Katie and Ariana, like going through their business plan with their business consultant, and they are so on point. They have binders with all their shit in it. They know the answers to the questions. Like, they seem confident. And they're also biding their time. They're like, look, we want to have all our ducks in a row so that when we get out there to investors, like, we're not going to fall on our face. We have a plan. We have a location. We're ready to, like, the fact that these two idiots have been doing this for a year for $1 million and are going to push it because of a wedding. Bro, if I was sunk into a place for $1 million, I wouldn't leave that place. I would live in the bar until it opened.
That's what Lisa said. She's like, you should be there 24/7 making sure that this works. And we know that Sandoval's not there 24/7, and Schwartz is too much of a coward to call him out.
Yeah, well,
like, they are just stuck. And here's the other thing about investors. They were probably just walking around like, well, yeah, like, you know, it's going to be a hit. Like, we're Tom.
We're Schwartz and Sandy.
Schwartz and Sandy. Like, you know us from TV. And then you get like Katie and Ariana over here like, fully mapped out. Like, we're going to plan on this. Nobody knows who we are, but we have this really good model and we think it's going to work. And we will talk to Lisa to consult with us because she's doing it out of the kindness of her own heart, too. Like, I love these kids. I know them from so long ago, and I'm so happy to see where they are now. She doesn't really talk about that when it comes to Tom and Tom.
Mm-mm.
She's like, well, they're kind of fucked. Like,
No,
I don't know what to
I
tell
mean,
them.
we actually hear her kind of say that when it gets to Ariana and Katie talking about their business plan with her, because she's like, I wish that they'd come to me sooner because now they're on their own. The next scene is with Brock and Scheana, and the only reason I'm going to get into this at all is just to set up for. Well, actually, no, I take that back. There's a few things about the scene I do want to talk about. One,
That they have to remind themselves to brush their teeth.
yeah, that's a big one. The 1 minute kiss as well, because in my mind, I'm like, all right, you make out for a minute.
Yeah.
From what it looked like when they kissed, they're just doing like a kiss, like one kiss and holding for a minute, because there was like they sat there, like lip to
Uncomfortable.
lip. I know, wouldn't that be awkward? Like I would get uncomfortable
A
after.
long time.
Do you want to try it?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, like, you never know how long time or how slowly time moves until you do a 1 minute plank, right? Imagine a 1 minute kiss.
1 minute kiss. No, unless there's got to be a little bit of Frenching going on, or else like that would be awkward. Two, I think Brock ate Vegemite. I think that's what he was spreading on his toast. Have you ever had Vegemite?
No, I have not. I thought it was
Oh,
jam,
man.
but
And
maybe.
I don't want to insult any of our. I know we have a lot of Aussie listeners, so I'm not coming at Vegemite. I will say it has to be an acquired taste because I tried it when I lived there, and ooh, it is so salty.
Is
Like
it?
it is so salty.
Yeah, I don't think that I'm ever going to be in a position where I will try it.
Ooh, if there's an Aussie listener that would like to send us some Vegemite, I will make sure to try it on the air.
I would ask if it travels well, but
It does. It definitely
I'm
travels
sure it
well.
travels
It's in a
fine.
jar. It'll travel just fine. But the biggest thing here is they need more rooms, and this sets us up for something later. Katie is still planning on going, even though she's no longer going to the wedding. So the room cost $1,000. So initially, I'm like, all right, room's $1,000. You kind of got the shaft a little bit. Like, obviously, it's an uncomfortable situation. You and Scheana had a falling out. You're going to go. It's a big resort. Enjoy Mexico. Is it a little weird? Yeah. Do I understand where you're coming from? Kinda. Like, whatever. It's a wash. As this plays out later, my whole stance shifts, and that pretty much takes us to the pool party. So we'll just jump right into it. You know, Katie, who I tried to pull for a while. Like last week, I was talking about how she is the one that got really scorned here by Schwartz and blah blah blah. Very quickly, I'm like, all right, dude. As they're starting to dive into this, and Scheana comes over to her to say, "Hey, I'll buy you out of the room." She takes the most childish, immature approach to this whole thing. She's like, "No, I want to go to Mexico, and no, Christina Kelly's gonna come with me to Mexico, and why don't I just do what the fuck I want to do?" And like, because it's a really shitty look, and this person's getting married, they need the room. There's a million resorts that you can go to in Mexico. Literally, probably in that town, there's probably 15 great ones. Go somewhere else. Don't sit there so you can snarkily like stare at the wedding and say mean things about it.
And you know that they want to be there because of that, and they're going to obviously still hang out with the other people that are there that they're friends with. So, like, if you want to go to Mexico, like you said, just go to a different resort. But I get what Sheena's coming after because she said, during my first wedding, I had the mean girls with Stassi and Christina Kelly talking about my dress and saying that I looked like a slutty quinceañera dress or whatever. Like, she doesn't want that energy, and Christina Kelly does kind of suck. So I get that. And Katie also sucks in Sheena's mind. So why would she want them there? And Katie's just like, well, why would I want to change? Like, I already paid for this. Like, once Scheana comes up to her and says, I will buy you out, Katie didn't say a word.
No, she didn't
She
even.
wasn't expecting that. She didn't know, and she didn't have a good answer. And if there's no good answer there, then yes, you know what? Venmo me $1,000. I'll get out. You can send her in. Boom, done. We're good. Go to a different resort. Like, you already have the time off. You clearly have the money to go do that, and Scheana will give you the money to go book it. Why don't you at least just say, let me look into it to see if I can?
Yeah, just
and if you want to sit around and figure it out and then call back and be like, look, the other resorts just don't have this, because I get it. Like, planning traveling, especially last minute, sucks balls.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
you want to do that, that's going to suck. But you know what? You're probably still flying into the same airport. You're probably still going to get the same car service. And like you said, there's probably a resort right next door. And other people said the same thing. But for Katie to just dig her feet into the sand or dig her head into the sand or whatever you want to say, to do that it's childish, and she wants to sit there so that she can watch the wedding from afar and make fun of it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason she wants to
Which
be
is
there.
a terrible thing. I don't even care if you hate the person. Like, don't put that kind of hate out there,
No.
period. Like, that's just a bad look. You come out looking worse here by far.
Yeah.
Like, you see this whole trend with this little crew that has now kind of established themselves together. Christina, Kelly, Katie, and Lauren. And they just are the worst kind of friend group.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
they sit
so
there
bad.
and they laugh at each other. Like, no one else in the room is laughing or thinks it's funny or cute. And you guys are like making faces at each other when Rachel's trying to talk to you. Nothing grinds my gear more than that. Like, the hair on the back of my neck stands up when someone's trying to, like, obviously there's tensions. The tensions are high. Rachel comes over there, gun's a little hot, but not like over the top, trying to explain to Lala, trying to talk to Lala, trying to like break down what happened on this trip. Lala's not even beginning to hear it. She's making faces at the other two, acting like Rachel is the dumbest person in the room, which is just so fucking rude. I don't care how you feel about a person, not to mention she doesn't know about the Scandoval yet. So to treat somebody that they're just flat out stupid in front of other people, I think is one of the most disrespectful things you can do to a person.
Yeah, that and the end of it when Lauren's sitting there like, oh my God, is she still here? Is
Yeah.
she still talking? Is she still here? It's like, Jesus, like, how old are you?
Yeah, we're playing like the ignore game. Like, oh, is somebody talking? I can't see anybody. Like, dude, grow up. Like,
Yeah.
I think that this crew doesn't understand that when this shit goes down, they're not winning the situation. And you're going up against some pretty shitty people as well, that it's very easy to come out here smelling like roses. Katie, if you bite the bullet and immediately go, you know what? Take the room. I'll go somewhere else. You come out a hero.
Yeah,
You
because
look
everybody
great.
else is losing and everybody else is going to lose that you don't know about right now. So you're going to come out of this season looking like an actual adult. And that's going to really stick to us, the viewers,
Yeah.
because it's really easy to win a battle in this show because they all suck.
Everybody,
It's
dude.
so bad. They all
Everybody.
suck so bad that right now we're talking about James Kennedy as being the most real person here.
He is, even in this moment when shit starts to pop off and they start to really get into what the issue is. The funniest thing, Lauren has the gall, the audacity, and the nerve to say to Rachel and everyone in the room, she's over it. What do you mean? It is not your place to say to
Yeah.
anybody who's over you cheating with her ex-fiance and not telling her until 5 years after that. She found out 2 weeks ago. And then James jumps in briefly and he's like, and goes, look, just stop bringing me into it. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want to be involved with it, which, okay, fair enough. But at the same time, dude, you made your bed. No pun intended. You got to lie in it. You banged Lala. She found out 2 weeks ago. This is still fresh. She still has a right to be upset. For anybody to tell her otherwise is ridiculous. Because, again, we don't know about the Scandoval thing yet.
Mhm.
So we have to look at it from that lens of them just being dicks. They're all being assholes. I said it last week. And instead of excusing Katie from the conversation, now she's an asshole too. The only one left standing is Ariana. And I will refuse to ever call her an asshole.
Yeah, no,
because she's the champion this
She
year.
tried. It's so funny to watch her like actually try to have normal reactions to things that are going on, or maybe a plan on how we can fix something. And these people are just acting like children.
Yeah.
And they're worse than children.
They really are.
And Ariana just walks in, she starts talking, and she's like, you know what, actually, no, I'm going to walk away.
Yeah, I'm not doing
She
this.
walks in and she starts like actually having a discussion. And then Sandoval starts yelling at them. And she's like, Tom, we're not going to do Tom versus the girls now. And walks away. It's like every time that she gets to insert herself, she realizes how ridiculous of an interaction it is
Yeah.
with this person. And then she ends up walking away because she's like, I can't deal with these idiots.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Like the big three, let's call them, Christina, Kelly, Lauren, and Katie, they think they're so much smarter than everybody
do.
in the room. And they just simply are not. Just because you have your little giggle sesh with each other in the middle of the room that everybody can see, and it's so rude, doesn't make you guys better than. It makes you guys look like idiots. Now we're back to Miami. I only get to do this 2 more times. 1 more time, no.
We'll do a sad horn.
Do I have a sad horn?
We'll
I got
find
the
something.
brass thing. I don't know, but we'll we'll find something. But then you were talking earlier how we're not going to get that scene where Raquel is like possibly behind the scenes at the reunion, blah blah blah. I could have done without this one because all it was Alexia screaming at Adriana and Adriana screaming back at Alexia. It was unintelligible. It was unwatchable. It was a terrible way to start the reunion, in my opinion, because it was just madness. It was chaos.
The whole reunion has been tough for, which really sucks because the show was enjoyable.
Mhm.
And we thought we were going to get a good reunion. But honestly, if you were to teleport us back a couple of weeks, I think that we would have agreed that the end of the season was good. We probably didn't need a reunion.
Just one. Just do
Just
one.
one. Yeah, I don't understand the 3-piece, especially for a Peacock special show.
Right.
Like, this isn't a Bravo show that a lot of people are watching. It's Peacock's exclusive. So, do we really need 3 parts? Absolutely not. We
No.
can say that now. Hindsight's 2020, but we get that, and I love Julia because Julia is still sticking up for her friends, even when Alexia comes in and tries to fake apologize, which she said multiple times. I'm just not going to apologize if I don't feel it. You clearly don't feel this.
No.
You're just trying to manipulate Adriana into getting more angry.
Yep.
So that you can maybe come out on top and be like, well, she said that about my son. She said this about that. And then she blew up at me when I was just trying to apologize to Julia. That's not how we viewed that.
Mm-mm.
We viewed that as you were yelling ridiculous shit at people from across the stage, then went to go apologize in a fake apology. And Julia said, well, you didn't treat Adriana correctly. And then that's when the whole thing blows up. And Julia is really coming out on top. And I don't think that she's like super polarizing. I don't think that she can carry a show by any means, but she's real.
She's a great
and I do like
addition to
that.
a
She's
show.
a very good addition. This show just needs to trim the fat, so to speak, and get rid of these other characters that just don't need to be there, that are just pissing us off.
I think the best way to do this reunion is just to go through all the stupid shit that people said.
Mhm.
And then we'll talk about that. And then we're going to move on from this pretty quickly. But the first thing we need to talk about, we got a little cutscene from a previously unseen. Alexia claims to be more LGBTQ conscious than Julia,
Yeah.
who is in a relationship with a woman. What are we doing here? Like, are you kidding me with that comment? And that's just, it's the perfect portrayal of who Alexia is and how her brain operates.
Mhm.
When she gets heated, she just goes for the biggest, loudest comment that she can possibly think of. Oh, well, I'm more LGBTQ than you. No, you're not.
No, you're
You
not.
simply are not. You just simply can't be. The next one.
Wait, wasn't she? Hold on. Wasn't
Okay.
there a couple episodes ago where Alexia was telling Julia that she didn't know what she was talking about when they were talking about the Florida law that was
Oh,
coming in?
yeah.
And Julie was like, it's just really hard because of my relationship and
Oh my
I'm
God.
trying to adopt somebody. And Alexia just completely dismissed everything that she was saying. But she's more, Jesus.
Well,
Like,
we're talking about the woman that can't scroll down on a PDF to find
and
out.
then won't admit that she was wrong.
And won't
she will
apologize.
specifically lay out the details of her being wrong and then will not admit that she was wrong.
Yes, it's extremely frustrating to
unbelievable.
watch. So let's move on to the next stupid thing that was said.
I like this. We should do this like once a week.
Yeah, this is like therapy, I think. The boldest claim I think I've ever heard in my whole life. And let's just preface this, okay? I'm not sure how many of you guys are NBA fans or basketball fans, but there are some like urban legends, such as like Wilt Chamberlain allegedly slept with 20,000 women or something.
Yes.
Like there are some of these like myths out there of just extravagant sex numbers within the NBA. All right. So there is some grounds for this.
Mhm.
However, Larsa makes the statement, and it is simply in response to the other women saying they have healthy sex lives in which they have sex like 3 times a week. Solid number. Good for you, ladies. Larsa goes, for 23 years, I had sex 4 times a night. I never missed a night. Are you
Most
kidding
incredible
me?
performance since
What-
Jordan's flu game. Her
Hold on. Let's do the math here. So 4 times a night times 365 days. That's 1,460 times a year. All right? Stay with me. 1,460 times 23. In 23 years, this woman had sex 33,580 times without one day off.
I think that's more points than LeBron has scored in his NBA career.
That might actually be true.
I think it was like 32,000. So yeah, that makes sense. It's funny because this clip got picked up by a lot of non-Bravo related
Yeah, I saw
newscasts.
that. It
Like
was on
Barstool
Barstool,
Sports
yeah.
was talking about it, and I heard it on like different podcasts, like just random people talking about it. It's so funny. I just wish, and this is the problem, I think, if there was one NBA fan on there that like didn't really like Larsa, they would make a comment about how she's dating her ex-husband's teammate's son, who she absolutely knew when he was like 5 years old.
And then claims
That
that she
is
didn't
such
know him.
gold. You
I
could just
know.
say that and be like, what were you, grooming the guy? Like
There's
seriously.
so
like,
many things you could say.
and then even the Jordan Pippen, like, are you going to like hyphenate your name and go Jordan Pippen? Like they laughed, but I belly laughed at that.
I know, it was so fun just hearing it out loud, like
Like-
the hyphen, like that was it was a holy shit moment because I was like, wow.
And knowing Michael Jordan, I bet you that he loves this too, because
He
now
definitely loves it.
he'll always be, Scottie Pippen will always be my second fiddle.
Yeah, and I think, if you don't know the relationship between the two of those, like there was some high tension between
Yeah.
Pippen and Jordan. So this
And
is
maybe Pippen would have been better if he wasn't having sex 4 times a night. Save some
rest
stamina
up,
for the games,
buddy.
brother.
Yeah, like
He had a back problem
relax.
later in his career. He had to bail out of the finals a couple different times.
I think now we know why.
Yeah.
He blew his lower back out
Even
having
Dennis
sex.
Rodman wasn't out there with Carmen Electra having sex 4 times a night, probably. Maybe.
I don't know.
Who knows?
I think Rodman could get those kind of numbers.
Yeah, but Rodman he definitely can't get those kind of numbers. But Pippen, I just can't see.
I can't see it, but it would make sense why his back continually hurt.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to the next stupid thing that was said. The next stupid comment made, once again by Larsa, I don't even talk about people. I watched you talk about people and start the shit all season. What are we talking about? This is why, like, everything she says is just not true.
No, she says that she doesn't talk about people, and she only lets up the information that she has and weaponizes it, even though she refused to say weaponize it, when she feels like she's in a corner. And then you go back and you look at all of the different things that whatever happened, she walked into Lisa's apartment and immediately just said, I heard that you rent your house out. I
Yeah.
heard you have a mortgage. Like, why? And she's like, I thought that she wanted to know that. Like, what? Like,
her explanations for things are laughable. It's like
They
the
are.
most basic, like, yeah, I thought that she wanted to hear that. And she thinks that that's like a sufficient response.
Yeah.
Like, no. Continue, please. Go. Let's dive deeper, Larsa. Oh, you can't? Shocker.
It's so obvious to see that all she's doing is just saving these things, little rumors that she either makes up or Marisol makes up or somebody DMs, and it's from an account that has 0 followers and they take it as law, and she saves it for the show. Like, that is clearly what she's doing. And everybody calls her out on it. Julie even said that, like, you could have called me and said, hey, I heard that you were making out with a man at a hotel. No, instead she waits until the cameras are rolling, which we gave Giselle shit for in Potomac. This is the same type of thing. You would think that maybe going into a reunion where you think that people are going to call you out for that, you might have a better answer.
No. There was
Maybe
no
a
planning.
little bit of wit. Maybe you turn it some way,
She
whatever.
doesn't have wit.
She just has
dude.
nothing.
She has no wit. There's
But
not...
she walked into her like glam team room or whatever, and she thought that she won all of those arguments.
And her claim
She's
was
delusional.
that they want to be me. They want to get off. Like, they get off because of me. It's like, okay, let's really break this down real quick. And I'm so glad that Julia called it out. Nicole is a doctor. Nicole is gorgeous. She's young. She has a super successful husband, a seemingly very happy, successful life. That's the root here.
Mhm.
That's the fucking problem you have. It has nothing to do with all the bullshit that you're claiming is going on. You threw that jab out there at her because you thought that was the one way that you could kind of stick it to her, is to challenge her career.
Mhm.
And you genuinely did. You could have ruined her career. And for you to say our final stupid thing that was said, the most stupid thing I think I've ever heard on Bravo. And that is, I've had a lot of bold claims about like things that I just haven't heard before on Bravo. For you to sit there and say, I have real jobs, to a fucking anesthesiologist. This woman makes sure that people don't die on the reg. Do you understand how like perfect you have to be with anesthesia to keep people under, not kill them, and not have them wake up during surgery? It's a very important job.
And by the way, does Larsa have real jobs?
I was getting to that.
Did those jobs exist 5 years ago? Probably not.
Those jobs didn't exist
No.
5 years. I don't know when OnlyFans was started, but that's your real job. You're comparing your career, and this is not a knock on anybody that does OnlyFans. If you get your bank making it off of OnlyFans, you get that paper, boo. I'm not here to judge.
Yeah.
But for you to go up and say that your job is more substantial than that of an anesthesiologist, a doctor, is ludicrous. Like, I saw a really good post. Somebody broke down the amount of time it takes to become an anesthesiologist. It's 4 years of regular school, 4 years in like doctor school, medical school, 3 years of residency just to become this person. And then it had next to it time it takes to become an OnlyFans model. Register, take pictures, promote, post.
Yep.
That's it.
That was pretty much it. And we saw her working this year once when she said, hold on, I have to take a couple feet pics.
Yeah.
Like, that was how quickly you did that. Nicole had to go to a 12-hour shift, and she was gone for the weekend because she had to work back to back to back.
Yeah.
And she gets Julia talking about how Martina was going under, and Nicole was her anesthesiologist for that.
Yes, and she
like, very real. And this is why, like, I respect Nicole so much, because one, she's definitely, I think, the smartest housewife. Maybe not like the most cunning, but intelligence wise, she's definitely the smartest housewife that we've seen. She did not take that bait. When
No.
Larsa said that, Julia laughed.
Yep.
Gertie laughed and was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Nicole just shook her head. And she did that countless times, because that side of the room is ridiculous, minus Lisa. Lisa's going through a lot of shit. Seems like there's a lot more weird stuff going on. And she was very blind to a lot of the things that were going on, or she knew about it and she's acting like she didn't now, but whatever. That's a different discussion for a different day. But that side of the room is crazy, and they're just hurling insults and just talking about the dumbest shit and laughing amongst themselves, much like the Mean Girls that we talked about in VPR.
Honestly, it's the same exact vibe.
It is, but they're just missing the mark. And the other side of the room is like, sans maybe Adriana, who I can't really stand right now. They all have it together, and they're all figuring out their lives, and they're all bettering themselves. And these idiots on the left side are not.
No, they're getting progressively worse and worse. And
Yeah.
I take that back. I looked at my notes. We still have more stupid comments.
Oh, God.
After the Larsa, like, I have a real job. Okay. We get to Larsa pretty much trying to, like, slut shame Nicole for what she wears.
Yeah.
Like, again, glass house. If you make your money on OnlyFans, I don't care. But don't then say that Nicole wears promiscuous outfits to work. Nicole does this. She
wears
doesn't.
scrubs.
She wears scrubs to work.
Everybody does.
Yeah. And you're going to try to give her shit because she said she pulled her neck while giving a blowjob. When somebody asks the question, have you ever gotten hurt during sex? She answers a question that has to do with her husband. And she says, yeah, I pulled my neck.
Yeah.
1, funny. 2, poignant, because that was the question asked. And 3, you can't use that as ammo. Like, she's so disgusting and unprofessional. What are we doing?
It's unbelievable.
It's like I literally thought I was going insane watching this.
It is. I mean, they're already insane because, again, that side of the room thinks that they did so well. And
they're high-fiving and toasting after this. I guarantee
God,
it. Like,
fucking...
we dragged them. We dragged that other couch.
I think it's just Marisol, but is there someone else on Ultimate Girls Trip that I have to worry about?
I thought there was another one.
If it's Alexia and Marisol,
Alexia.
I'm gonna hurl myself from the nearest building.
I'll drive you.
Yeah.
The only thing before we move on that I did think was actually legit and interesting is Kiki claims to have known about a lot of these rumors about Lenny for an extended period of time.
And it looks like we're going to get more of that next week, but
yeah, and I'm excited to get into that because
hopefully.
But moving right along to Summer House, as we said, we got to chat with the Summer House member today. Carl was awesome. I'm excited for you guys to hear that. But we start out and it's still like the disco party and what is it called? Studio 50 Forest?
Something like that, sure.
Something like that, whatever. But I appreciated, and maybe it's because we talked to him today and he was such a delightful guy but I wrote it down here that I did appreciate that Carl said he didn't have the balls to like bring it up to Kyle. Like he hadn't like had the nerve to go up and ask him. I was like, all right, the self-aware king. I appreciate that. Nice job, man.
Plus he looked great in the outfit and Jerry curls.
See what we're doing now?
Yeah.
The fact that those two,
Kyle also looked great.
They both looked fantastic. Yeah. Like the fact that, and you brought it up on the interview today, like I do love that there's a trope centered around Summer House.
Yeah.
Where extremely serious conversations happen in very wacky outfits.
Yeah.
I think that we need, if one of our listeners can put together like a little collage of very serious conversations in wacky clothes throughout the year on Summer House, we would be forever in your debt. We'll send you a free cameo.
Yeah.
If you can put that together.
It happens all the time. And like, these are like the reasons that I do like the theme parties is because most of them go all out and most of them will wear cool costumes that like you never expect to have any reason to use. Kyle looked great. Carl looked great. There were a couple of duds out there. I don't think Chris understood what was going on.
He didn't get the assignment, but
he's still new, so I'm going to give him a little grace there. But I will say Chris was so funny to watch.
I love
he was
Chris.
just going for. He's such a nice guy,
He's
and
just such like a goofball. Like
he is, but he's very clearly like dead set on talking to some chicks, and obviously the ones in the house aren't really much fun.
no, they hung out with him too much. They're not into him.
Yeah, that's probably true. But he talked to probably every single girl that was there
made
that
the
wasn't
rounds.
part of it. And my favorite part was when he was talking to the two girls that were sitting in the pool, and he's just going on and on to this one girl, and then he leans back and goes, "Sorry, I didn't see you over there. I couldn't really see through this girl right here."
Yeah, I know.
And he starts chatting her up, and like he's just swinging all over the place.
Well, we all have those friends. It's a numbers game.
Yeah.
You play the numbers game. If you keep asking long enough, like eventually, hopefully,
Somebody will say yes.
Somebody will at least give you the time of day.
Yeah.
But the party to me seems kind of flat. We found out today why. And if you guys want to hear a lot of like the in-depth stuff, listen to the interview. But we finally get a sit down between Carl and Kyle. And I did think it was interesting that this did not really center around their shit. Like
No.
this was once again a Lindsay and Amanda conversation, which arguably is the root of a lot of their issues. Just like those, I think if you take Lindsay and Amanda out of it, these two could get to the real reasons, but without the tension. I think the knowing that their two ladies do not get along with one another adds this whole other dynamic to the mix that makes it really difficult just to move forward.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that Lindsay kind of expected. You can see that everybody has their eyes on this conversation because I think Chris said it best. When you guys are at odds, the whole house can feel it.
Oh, Sam said that.
Sam said that?
Sam, I think they both did.
Was it Sam and Chris?
Sam said some really good things to Kyle. I like Sam a lot.
Yeah, Sam said that inside when her and Kyle were talking, but I believe it was Chris that came over and made a comment about the fact that when you guys are at odds, because you guys have been here for 7 seasons and you guys kind of control the house. If you guys are at odds, the whole house can feel it. And we don't want to deal with that. It's much happier when you don't because we get to party, we get to focus on having fun instead of whatever the hell else is going on. Now, I was a little surprised, and I think that Lindsay was also surprised that Carl went into this conversation so like happy-go-lucky after Kyle had an absolute meltdown last week, and Carl's really sitting back just thinking like, all right, Kyle's just going to talk himself out. He's just screaming. He looks terrible. But he did call your girlfriend a bitch.
He did.
Like, let's not mince words here. That's exactly what he did. You could go into this a little fiery. You could go into this, you're a little more controlled than you were a couple years ago, but you don't have to go in screaming and yelling. But maybe go into this and be like, dude, like, I didn't appreciate the fact that you called Lindsay a bitch. Like, let's just talk about that right now.
Yeah, let's get to the
That's how
bottom
you
of that.
do that. Like, but don't beat around the bush and like have fun and be like, yeah, I want to get back to like having a good time with you. And Kyle is still, to his credit, on point talking about like, I think that it's the Lindsay of it all. I think that there's an issue. Like, I feel like she's pulling you back. I feel like once you guys started dating, things have changed. I feel like you've changed. Like, Kyle's still on point and getting his opinion across. And I feel like Carl's still not like being too real with him. He's like still being nice and kind of towing the line of like, you're my boss and friend, and I just don't want everybody to be upset. And I feel like that's not conducive to figuring it out.
Yeah, and like whoever you agree with here, I don't think Shooter's saying that Kyle's in the right. I think
No,
what
not
he's
at all.
saying
Not at all.
is regardless of the right or wrong of it, Kyle is getting his points out.
Yes,
Whereas
exactly.
Carl is he's not really getting it out there.
No.
And like he did say today, like watching it back, he wishes that he could have like
For sure.
done more. And like hindsight, is a bitch, as we talk about all the time. But it kind of gets resolved. Not really. Like they kind of just hug it out. Let's move forward. And hopefully, that's the one good thing about dudes is we tend to be able to be like, you know what, fuck it. Let's move past this. We'll move on. Let's get back to being friends. It'll be a little awkward for a while, but we'll get through that.
I do like it's just like they push it off on Amanda and Lindsay. Like they need to figure their shit out.
They need to talk.
And I don't agree with Kyle at all here, where Kyle says, if Lindsay and Amanda, if we could just isolate them and let them have like their own thing going on here, that shouldn't really affect us. Like I disagree with that.
I think it's impossible.
If your wife, girlfriend, whatever, are beefing and they have real issues with you, one, it would make a lot of sense if you guys could help them to figure it out because you do want to be all friends. And two, you can't just sit there idly and be like, well, I'm still going to be friends with this guy, like even though there's a lot of stuff going on here, because Kyle is not matching your energy.
Right.
If Kyle's, sitting there happy-go-lucky just like you are, and you guys are just like, oh, yeah, let the girls fight, like whatever, and you guys agree on that, that's one thing. But Kyle is not. Kyle's still backing Amanda very much. You're not quite backing Lindsay probably as much as she would like, probably as much as Carl would like as he looks back now. So you got to figure out that dynamic, and you got to be hands-on. You can't just say, oh, the girls need to figure it out. Like, we're good.
But that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
what they're going to do. And we're going to see it blow up. But I don't think with them. I think that because Danielle can't keep her nose out of anything,
Yeah.
we're going to see the blow up happen between her and Lindsay. I'm really curious to see kind of how everybody interacts once that starts popping off, because we've seen Danielle kind of jump from crew to crew. She can't find out where she fits in. I think the problem is when you look at it, this is all projection. She's projecting her shit onto every other group in the house, specifically the couples. And I think it's because Robert's MIA. He cooks, he's in the kitchen 24/7, he's in Aspen on a job, like he's not present. So all of your insecurities in your own relationship are falling onto everybody else in the house. And that's ridiculous. It is not your business. And I can't say it enough. I am so sick of seeing Carl and Lindsay beef and seeing her like talking to other people. Like, what are they talking about? Like, oh my God, I can't believe, like, blah, blah, blah. And then she goes over there. Lindsay finds out that she said some off color shit about them, even though she's their best friend. Lindsay iced Amanda out for talking shit about her and Carl. They were best friends. Why is this different?
No, that's a really good point. And you actually brought in another good point about Paige stirring that up a little bit.
Yeah.
We don't have, and like maybe there's other people that have commented before where we talk about how we just want to watch people have fun and party and not go to bed at 11 o'clock. And obviously we know that Paige goes to bed at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, we're aware.
But Paige has a different role in this show. And when she was missing last week, Amanda completely just lost her shit. But if Paige is there, that doesn't happen. I don't think in my mind.
She's the buffer.
Exactly. And when Paige was there today, she heard something about Lindsay. She heard something about Danielle, and she immediately spills in a very productive way and then literally leaves. Like gets up and walks away.
Yep.
And says, I got to go to the bathroom. See you later. Have fun.
It's so
you guys
good.
got to talk about this.
It's
like,
great.
Boom, done. Awesome. Like, that's exactly what you need. And then we see her later, like, up in the window, staring down, looking at them. That was really funny. But Danielle really is, like, she's just so butthurt about not being part of this throuple anymore. Throuple?
Your word
Whatever.
is throuple.
I say throuple.
Just go with it.
Yeah, I'm going to go with throuple. She's just really upset that she's not part of this throuple anymore. And she's watching her two best friends. She's Squidward up in the window while SpongeBob and Patrick are running around having fun outside. Like her boyfriend is gone. MIA. She talks about like, oh, he's not coming out. Oh, he's not coming out. And here we know like they did break up, which maybe it is better for her because it doesn't seem like the long distance thing was really working. But now her two best friends are dating and she feels like she's being iced out completely. And maybe she is right. Maybe Lindsay and Carl could make a better effort to include Danielle in what they're doing.
But why? They're dating. Like,
exactly.
they are
I
dating.
get that. But she didn't really, it's sort of like the Frank Catania aspect of this. Like she didn't expect her role as friend to change.
But if she had a boyfriend that was present, I don't think she would care as much.
I think
she'd
that's
be doing
true.
her own thing.
I think she's alone and her two best friends are shacking up and she can't join in.
But the funniest is her trying to defend her stand. She's like, yeah, I'm always going to have an opinion on you guys because like you're my best friend. You're my best friend. She has to say that 100 times.
I know.
But no, what you did was find an opportunistic moment where other people were talking smack. You decided to jump in, call it a fairy tale, say they're moving too fast, say all these things that you have had discussions about with Lindsay in the past, where Lindsay has said, I took issue with at the reunion. Amanda questioned, was buying a house together too fast?
Yeah.
You say they're moving too fast. You say it's a fairy tale.
You're
which
supposed
is
to
even
have
meaner.
their back.
Regardless.
Yeah.
Regardless of the circumstance, if you are in fact their best friend, you do not go out to the pool bar and talk smack about them. And then when Lindsay calls you out on it, you have this weird defensive stance like you're in the right. If that's the moment, just be like, look, I shouldn't have said that. I didn't mean it that way. It came out the wrong way. Like, I love you guys. Of course I support you. You got to bite the bullet and just like step back. Instead, she doubles down and proceeds to have the cringiest 20 minutes ever.
By far.
Like, she is doing way too much. I think she thinks she's awesome. Like, she thinks she's fucking killing it.
Yeah.
Like, she's in her room alone. She's alone and she's awkward.
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
No, that's definitely very hard to do.
Like, I can't stand her this season. I wasn't a huge fan of her prior, but I didn't really care.
No, she wasn't like ever present. Like there were too many. There were other personalities that were taking over, and we weren't complaining that nobody was doing anything. Now we're kind of hyper focusing on things that are annoying us, essentially.
Yeah.
And she is one of the biggest.
Yeah, she
And it's
really is.
tough. Like, go to Montauk. And we found out, and I kind of thought this too, when they're talking about going to Montauk, and like, look, I get it. Like, Sam's like what, like 24. Like, let the younger ones go. They want to go at 11:30 to drive an hour to Montauk and go to a party to hang out for an hour to then turn around and come back for that
Yeah.
other hour. Like, that sounds terrible to me now. I can't imagine what it sounds like to like Lindsay and Carl. Like, Carl definitely does not want to go. Do we think that maybe he should have been like, Lindsay, if you want to go, then go?
He should have. He should
Probably.
have just
I
said,
think he
Lindsay,
would.
go.
I think he would agree as
He
well.
said that today. I
Yeah.
should have just said go.
And Lindsay also, if she didn't want to go and she wanted to hang out with Carl, then she should have just said, "Nah, you know what? I'm going to hang back. I'm not really into that. I don't feel like dealing with that. It's a long commute." Like, there's so many things that you could say. Instead, you just get Danielle like hanging all over her, talking about how, we used to go out in Montauk all the time. And the Lindsay that I know loves Montauk. Lindsay is older now. She doesn't feel like doing that anymore. We just had a whole party. I can't imagine going an hour away to go do more.
Well,
Like, let the girl hang out at home. She has a loving relationship. You go hang out with these other people in Montauk. See if you enjoy it. You might not even enjoy it anymore.
well,
Like,
I
it's
think
just
that
annoying.
Lindsay did want to go. I think that it was
You
clear
think
that
that she was looking for permission from Carl?
I don't know if it was permission. I think that she wanted Carl to go. I don't think she wanted to go alone. I really
Yeah.
don't. I don't think that she was looking for a window where Carl's gonna be like, you know what, just go do your thing. I think she wanted him to rally and get up and go.
Mm-hmm.
I even wrote it down, and this is pre-Carl interview. I wrote down after Danielle's like, well, me and Robert, like, I would go do my thing. I would do this. I would do that. Lindsay says that's not our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I respect that. That's not how they roll.
Mhm.
And like, not everybody does things the same way. If they roll as a duo, like, do I think it's healthy for people to have their own thing? Absolutely. I think it's
For sure.
crucial. But if they're the kind of people that are like, look, I'm not going to go to Montauk without you, like, that's not crazy. And Danielle, as their best friend, you should respect that and step the fuck off. There's other people that'll go. Go with Sam. By the way, Sam needs a friend. I love Sam. I think she's great. I think that watching her have to deal with her insecurities and stuff is sad. It's tough to watch, especially when you have people like Maya dragging her to the side saying, "You talk too much." Like, great.
Yeah.
Great. Let's highlight what her biggest insecurity is.
Which Maya is also a problem of mine. She doesn't do anything. She
does nothing.
like, I think she's a nice girl. I think she's like cool. I like Oliver. I like her boyfriend, but
Oliver's great for TV.
Oliver's great for TV. He's just not on a lot. We don't need another couple, and unfortunately, like, you're gonna get the axe because you're not doing a whole lot. Sierra is awesome this
Killing
season.
it.
Sierra's absolutely killing it this season. I've had so many issues with her in the past, mostly because of the Austin thing and the way that drug on, and it seems like it just like impacted everything. It sucked. This year, Sierra is awesome. The whole Foxy Brown thing was
Karma
fucking
Brown.
hilarious. I kept saying Foxy Brown because of
Goldmember.
Goldmember,
Right?
exactly.
Austin
Yeah.
Powers, yeah, no,
And-
Karma Brown.
I kept saying it to myself and then I watched Goldmember. But
I didn't watch it, but I started quoting it because of Karma Brown reminded me of
Yeah.
Goldmember.
exactly. I got a skin box upstairs.
Um,
But no, she's great. Like, there are so many good personalities on the show, and everybody seems to have their role, and they're trying to plug in these new newbies just to see if they can hang, give the show a little bit more life where other people are kind of fading. And I just don't really think that Maya does enough to hang out. Like, she literally just hangs out in bed,
yeah, and look,
and that's not fun.
today's interview doesn't change anything. This
No.
show is still kind of on life support. They
Mhm.
need to rally and figure it out. They need to have Chris step up. He needs to do more than awkwardly hit on girls and fail miserably. It's
Yeah.
funny to watch, but it can't carry a show. And we were promised that shit heats up. And again, it's only 6 episodes in.
see.
And I think it's a longer season. So
I think he said that there's like 17.
there's a lot. So buckle up. We got
Yeah.
a lot to go.
I do have one qualm to pick with Bravo production. They are pushing the narrative hard.
They are really
And
pushing
they've
the
been
narrative.
doing this with a lot of shows, and I just think that they're missing the point.
I think that they're missing what we as viewers actually want to see.
We have small attention spans. Very small attention spans. Like, I
What were we
think that
talking about?
exactly. I think that they were thinking in all of these shows, like, oh, the viewers are gonna love this. Like, they can't get enough of this drama. It's like, no, we're tired of it. So to like that morning, it was Amanda's birthday, which I always think it's so funny. They always do something that like Sunday morning,
Last day is
and then they
miserable.
leave.
It's miserable.
It's like, yeah, just like get out, like morning, beat the traffic. Don't worry about it.
People that go to the pool, go get drinks, go do any activity on getaway day. Like
I
the day you're supposed
understand.
to leave. No,
I
no.
understand as a shore goer for like every weekend. I understand waiting until Sunday night to come home. And if you want to go to
No.
the beach all day, you miss the traffic that way.
Nope.
A lot of people, because hotels let out in the morning, which I don't think the Hamptons really have that many hotels, but there are commuters. People leave in the morning. You can either leave really early or you have to leave late at night. Leaving in the middle, you're going to get fucked by traffic. But I always think it's really funny on this show that they do stuff like Amanda's birthday
Yeah.
at like 10 a.m. and then you see them packing up and they leave. And like that's really funny to me. But you can tell that Lindsay was going to say happy birthday to Amanda and they just cut.
Yep.
And went right over to somebody else. It's like, I know that Lindsay said happy birthday.
Mm-hmm.
We all know Lindsay said happy birthday. She didn't just stand there awkwardly. And if she did, you would have shown it.
Yes.
So don't do that. Like
Don't
that
force the narrative.
is annoying. Like we know what the narrative is. Even when she says happy birthday, maybe we would read into it and be like, that seemed disingenuous. I didn't really like the way she said happy birthday. But don't just like cut it off and be like, she didn't do it. Like they're going to figure it
You
out.
know what? It makes me think that Bravo production thinks we're stupid.
Huh?
It makes me. Last but not least, we are in RHONJ. RHONJ.
We're at the Jersey Shore.
We're down at Jersey Shore.
Uh-huh.
We're at where are they? Seaside Heights.
I think they were at Tom's River.
Oh, where are they?
It was Seaside Heights. Yeah,
Tom's River, Seaside Heights.
yeah.
And funny little anecdote for you. I was playing college summer ball, and I was living at Monmouth University in the dorms there.
Going to Karma and fist bumping.
We went to Karma one night.
Fist bumping.
I did. Yes. I mean, you have to.
Okay. I just wanted you to say it out loud.
No, I fist bumped.
Okay.
Look, I'm not above it. I'm not above it when I'm there in the moment. And I was, 19 with a fake ID, and like I think I had glow sticks and doom, doom, doom.
Do you think you're would you say that you're a dollar store Mike the Situation?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'll take that. Yeah. Fine. Whatever. But what was I talking about?
I don't know.
Oh, my anecdote about the Seaside Heights. So that is actually the town that Jersey Shore is filmed in,
Yes,
Seaside Heights.
it is.
And I was playing summer ball, and I needed money because I was in college and broke and playing summer ball. So we went on Craigslist, and me and my two roommates at the time found a listing for like a boardwalk employee. And we're like, all right, I paid like $20 an hour, which is great. Turns out it did not pay $20 an hour. There's a lot of stipulations that went with it. We didn't get paid, but we go, and it's one of those dart booths that you throw.
Oh, you were a carny.
I was a carny for 3 days, didn't get paid. And
Did you find out how it was rigged?
oh my God, that's what I was getting to. This is the saddest shit ever. So there was this kid, this sweet kid comes up, and he's probably like 6, and all he wants is this Pikachu.
Yeah.
It's all he wants. It's this big, stupid, it probably costs 50 cents to make. Might cost $2 in a store, but he's just like throwing down 20s. But when we were taught, like we get there like 7 a.m., this guy's like walking us through. And all the tags, all right, there's tags behind each balloon.
Yeah.
All the tags are facing the wall. Okay. And there is S for small, M for medium, J for jumbo, whatever. This guy highlights, they can't see the tag. I'm like, excuse me? He goes,
Scumbag.
they can't see the tag. The more money I make, the more money you make. So he wants us to scam children. Luckily for this poor kid, he's just hitting smalls. He's spent $30 and he's hitting smalls. He starts crying. I get in trouble because he's like walking away crying, and I grabbed the Pikachu and I just tossed it to him. I was like, here you go, buddy. I was like, nice job. And he walks away. This dude, you would have thought that I robbed him. He comes over there. He's like, what are you doing? He goes, we don't give away the jumbo. Like, loses his mind. Doesn't fire me then. But the worst part is I'm out. I have to lobby people to throw darts. So I'm like walking up to randos like, hey man, free dart throw.
Oh
I
God.
walked up to this one dude who's in pajama pants, which is my biggest pet peeve. Pajama pants in public. Just put on
Jersey Shore on the
shorts.
boardwalk,
Just
baby.
put on shorts,
Yeah,
dude. All right,
I know.
act like you care a little bit. But this
What about
dude-
pajama shorts?
no
Okay.
PJs in
Yeah.
public. It's
Cookie
just
Monster on the shorts
Stop
doesn't
it.
do it for you.
Stop it. This guy's walking by. He's got hair down to his waist. He's got a tank top, pajama bottoms, and like fucking dude shoes. And I'm like, hey man, free dart. He's like, I'm a local. We don't play these fucking games. I'm like, all right, buddy, thanks. Just try to do my job. But what it taught me? It taught me a valuable lesson because now when I'm in the mall or on the boardwalk and people approach me like, hey, man, you want to try this? I'm like, no, thank you. Not today, but I appreciate it. And I'm very polite. And I swear to God, if you ever go out with me and see people approach me trying to sell me shit, I'm always nice because I know what it's like.
That's
to
so
try to
funny.
lie.
Yeah, you're a perfume salesman in the King of Prussia
so I'm
Mall.
always polite to them because I know what it feels like to get yelled at by a local wearing pajama bottoms. But anyway, let's get into
The
Jersey.
funny thing is, you were lower on the scale than that local wearing
At that
pajama
moment,
bottoms.
I was made to scheme little children out of money.
Yes, you
It was
were.
horrible. I didn't do it. That one kid did hit Smalls. Oh, he just sucked at the dart game, but he got the Pikachu anyway and almost got me fired. But whatever. I quit 3 days later. Never got paid. Let's get into Jersey. We start out, then I gotta highlight this too, because we start out with Marge fat shaming Joe. I don't like it.
I don't like
Didn't
that
like
either,
it.
yeah.
I like him a little chubby, pats him on the stomach, and you can tell that he feels a certain way about it.
He was like, "That's that. I'm gonna change that."
He's like, I'm getting.
What did she say?
skinnier."
Don't exaggerate.
Yeah, he says, I'm getting skinny. She says, don't exaggerate. Let's not knock him.
No.
All right. He already has to feel kind of uncomfortable that we push these photo
Mhm.
shoots on him and he's kind of the butt of the joke. Like,
Yep.
haha, let's get Joe Bonino to take off his shit. Like, he definitely doesn't love it. All right. So
No.
don't add on. Don't pile on. As a
No.
former fat guy, leave Joe alone.
Yeah.
Okay. But we move on to Danielle and Fuda. And my stance on this changes as we go. Like
Okay.
at the end of the episode, I had a very different stance. But initially, I'm like, okay, cool. We got the two newbies. This is a new alliance. Danielle's already coming on strong. If
Yep.
she can get a good partner in Fuda, kind of like a sidekick, like this could be a dynamic duo.
I don't want that. I didn't want that, and obviously we're not going to get that.
No, we're not.
I view that as this is potentially, and Colleen actually made a really funny joke. I viewed it as like the future of the franchise. Like these are younger housewives. They're both doing really well, and it's really fun. And like we might look back on this and be like, this is really funny. Colleen goes, I can't wait to watch their relationship deteriorate over the next couple of years. And I was like, that's so funny because that's what happens. Like
I know.
I'm sure there's scenes with Marge and Teresa
This is the
early
new
on.
Marge and Teresa.
And they're like friends and it's so much fun. And now they're like, they've gone through the enemy phase and now they're kind of like doing battle with their minions from across the field.
Yeah, they have.
And it's
they have
so
bonds.
funny to watch the development happen. And you see Fuda and Danielle just sitting there like pretty much just trying to iron out what the hell's going on. Like it does really look like they were thrown into this and they have no idea how these women operate.
No.
Like I don't get it. I'm just trying to see what makes them tick. And they all have so many issues with each other. And they're very real about it. And I love it because they're walking around. Fuda makes fun of Danielle and goes, yeah, that's more your alley. And it's just like all the bedazzled shit.
Yeah, I know.
And Danielle's like, hell yeah, that's exactly what I want to wear. And I thought that it was nice to see this because we've seen, and we get a little bit more of it later, and it seems more genuine then, but we've seen them try to kind of split up. The newbies are all splitting up and kind of not forming alliances, but trying to figure out what everybody's up to.
Fessler's
And
got alliances.
Fessler already is friends with
yeah.
Marge, and she's already looking out for her, and it's kind of annoying, but I get it. I think Fessler's fine. These two are really just trying to figure out where everybody is and where everybody lies and what they think and kind of what they want. And
Well,
you can see
kind
the
of.
recruiting going
Kind of.
on. Kind of.
Because we see in this scene, Danielle is not really coming at Marge. She's just kind
No.
of relaying information that she has heard about Marge,
Yes.
which, by the way, is 100% factual. She's not saying
It
any lies.
absolutely is true.
Yeah. And Fuda is sitting there like, what? Like, kind of, you can see her kind of logging the info and not fully understanding and not fully being on Danielle's team here. She's
Right.
like, you heard that about Marge? Like, you can tell that she's taking stock. And I think that her alliances might already be drawn. I think she knows which way she's going. She's Team Marge.
I think the Fuda might be a little too gullible about this, and she's definitely Team Marge.
Yeah.
And I do like that happens. I do like that we have the two of them together. They both know that they're new. They both know that they are gaining information on each other and everybody else around them. And they're kind of pointing out like how weird it is.
It's like the Jets and the Sharks.
Yeah, it really is. And we get to see them kind of talk about this and like really like lay it out. And I think that Fuda she's a little gullible and she is going to be Team Marge. And that's the type of person that usually gravitates towards Marge.
Yeah.
She will recruit you to her team. And look, do I think that you need to go to one team or another? No, probably not. Like Dolores is doing a great job of kind of towing the line and having her own interpersonal story with Frank, with
Paul,
with Frank, with Paulie, and also kind of mixing it up here and there. And she's not drawing the line in the sand being like, I'm on this team or I'm on this team. But it's going to end up like that. We're going to get the teams just clashing at some point later in the season.
It's
and
inevitable.
And it's fine. I'm okay as long as the teams are fair.
As long
honestly.
as the teams are fair, and I think that they're shaping up to be. I think
Yeah, we're on the competition committee. We want to make sure that we're good.
we make sure that everyone follows the rules.
Yes.
But I do think that we're going to see the teams take shape much more specifically. You're definitely going to see like lines drawn in the sand. But it's funny because we hear Danielle talking about that with Fuda, right?
Yes.
Then we immediately flash over to Tree and Jen Aiden are sitting there talking while they're shopping for bridesmaids gifts.
Yes.
And Jen voices the same thing to Teresa. And obviously there's a different connotation here because they're just trying to find anything to throw at him because they hate Marge. But she's like, yeah, I think Marge has something on Joe and Melissa, which just echoes exactly what Danielle just said. The difference is Danielle wasn't coming from a place of malintent.
No.
Whereas Jen Aiden
Jen absolutely is.
Yeah, and she's trying to put, where Teresa and Marge actually lie is a mystery, right?
Yes.
That whole luncheon might have been a ruse on both sides. Let me smooth things over. They both think they're like getting one over on the other one because we see Marge actually talk shit behind Teresa's back. We see Teresa
talk to her therapist.
I mean, she does throw some things out there that could be seen as like she's definitely being shady, right? She's definitely being shady. Yep. So to hear Jen like echo that immediately after was interesting. And it's like, yeah, well, she's right. Like, she's definitely right because that's what Marge does. She digs up shit. We all know it. She's done it forever. That's her MO. She doesn't ever have storylines. The only reason she's here is to start shit. And she does it very well. We've talked about it before. She's a nightmare sometimes. Like, listening to her scream and yell is unbearable at times. However, she needs to be on this show. You can't have the show without her. She is the counterpoint to Teresa. Even if they're getting along, we need it. We get to Jen and Bill, which is getting sadder and sadder to me to watch.
It is. I at least like that Bill spoke this time.
But he just he steps
say anything.
around. He says literally nothing.
But I'm starting to like Jen and respect Jen a lot more while watching Bill talk because he just talks in circles and she goes, I don't need the Confucius shit. I just want you to tell me that you support me.
That's it.
That's all I really want.
That's it, Bill.
And I get that, and I realize I'm like, that's very real, Jen. And when she talks about like, when my kids go to bed and I smoke pot at the end of the night, it doesn't make me a pothead. Like, that's very real, Jen. I really appreciate that. That's good. And I thought that Jen specifically had a very good episode. Like, she was fun at the party. She was good in this situation, talking about like very real things with her marriage. She's good talking about how her daughter is traumatized because of what happened and the information that Marge spilled. Like, do I think that she goes about things the right way? Absolutely not. But I actually do feel for Jen, and I'm actually rooting for Jen a little bit.
I am too, simply because what we get
I'm surprised that you are.
I know, but here's why. When you watch it all shake out, I cannot begin to imagine the level of stress and anxiety that is on that woman day to day.
Yeah.
You have an absent husband. This guy's not doing shit. He doesn't care to make it better. You're doing everything you can to 1, fix your marriage, 2, take care of your 5 children of all ages, 3, you're constantly at war with a whole group of women that want to tear you down. Like, of course she's erratic. Of course she can't like get a handle on things. Like, I can't begin to imagine trying to live this lifestyle whilst filming it.
No.
Like, that's why at times she makes no sense. How could you? I would have lost my mind. And we've joked about it before. Like, she seems like she's kind of going off the rails. Like, respect to her for not actually being in a loony bin because of fucking Bill not doing shit. And the perfect cherry on top, and we'll get there. We're not going to speed through this one, but did you see at the very end when they're on the sprinter bus back to the
when he's passed the fuck out
cold, out cold?
I thought that was so funny.
Perfect image of Bill Aiden is him asleep in the back of the sprinter van while everything else is popping off.
Yeah, no, that is so funny. And the fact that they bought that house, and I think that's probably where we're going next, right?
Yep.
The fact that they bought that house, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. They got a little shore house. They're close to Melissa, which is interesting because they have no relationship there. And I guess Fuda also lives in that area. Like, we're going to get a lot more Jersey Shore action, I think, over the next couple of seasons.
I would love to stay there.
We love that.
Yeah.
Their house is right on the boardwalk.
Mm-hmm.
Their house is right next to one of the bars. And immediately Bill points out, that's where all the fights go down. Like, that is so funny to me. But knowing the houses that are on boardwalks like that, it's gonna be unbearable
Oh
to
my
live
God.
there.
Yeah, it's gonna
It's
be a
gonna be
nightmare.
so bad to live there and to have kids there. It's gonna be absolutely brutal to do that. But I thought that it was really funny that they were so excited to just have this shore house and make sure that it was part of this season, I think, that she just left all the furniture, not only all the furniture, all of the decor, the very like generic shore house decor everywhere. The same goddamn table that is in every rented shore
I
house
shit you
ever.
not, dude. I saw it and I texted Dev. I was like, yo, this place is identical to the condo that your parents rent every year
It
in
is.
Wildwood. It's every
Down to that
it's
table.
all of it.
Yeah.
The table, the beds,
The little
way
seagrass everywhere.
you
Like,
have the two twin beds kind
Yep.
of awkwardly facing like the same way. Like, there's one adjacent to the other one in that teeny room. Like, that's where I sleep. Dev
there's
sleeps in one
probably
bed.
a word for having it set up like that. Like somebody masterfully put together this architecture.
Yeah, it's the Jersey Shore design.
The Jersey Shore design.
Yeah.
And somebody's making a lot of money off of that
Yeah.
because they sold some really good how-to tutorials on that one. But it's just so funny to me that she just left everything up. And I love the different groups that pop up. And I was surprised to see that Dolores was staying at Fuda's.
I wasn't.
I figured Dolores would have stayed with Jen.
Oh.
But I guess
You meant not
I
with
always
Frank. I got it.
Well, no, the Frank thing, yeah.
Okay.
That
I thought
was
you meant that you're
obviously-
surprised you didn't stay with Frank. I was like,
Oh, no, not at all. But then I realized I completely forgot about the Jen Dolores thing, like immediately after. And I really do think that Dolores is like, I can't stay with Frank. I've got to stay at this new person's house. Like, that's got to be a little awkward.
do they? I would imagine they have a relationship prior to the show.
I don't know if they do.
No,
No, I mean, like,
maybe it's just
Fuda might, yeah, because Frank trained Rachel, didn't he?
yeah.
Yeah, he
All
trained
so
Rachel, so they
they
probably do
definitely
know.
did.
Okay,
so
all
it's
right.
a little more comfortable.
Yeah,
but,
okay. Thanks for talking me through that.
That's what I'm here for, buddy. But we get all the way through. Let's get to the luau party. All right, and the drama leading up to it is Joe and Melissa are still throwing heat because Melissa's parents, Joe's in-laws weren't invited to the wedding, and that's kind of the preamble before we get there. But while we're at this luau party, a lot of shit goes down.
Yeah.
A lot happens, and I want to talk about one of the main points here because we already have people like reaching out about it. Louis. Okay. Louis had a tough episode. Louis took a step back for me, and I told you I would call it out when I see it. The whole interaction between him and Teresa regarding Melissa's mom. All right. And I talked to Dev about it too. I tried to see like all different angles of it. I tried to like kind of dive through it. Like, okay, were they just super lit? And this was like, he was just kind of like saying shit, or her stance. And I'm leaning towards this one. It's kind of manipulative in that moment to be like, you should invite, like, well, don't look at me in front of everybody else. Like, you should be supporting your wife's decision in that moment. Even if you feel a certain way, like, that's not the time or place. You can't sit there and say, well, I wanted to invite her, but like, and then point at your like soon to be wife. And then she is now in the hot seat. And then you're like, you know what? I'm going to invite her. And then you just bounce.
Yeah.
Like, that was a shitty moment. And that pushes me towards the people who are like, oh, see, he's a master manipulator, this and that.
I don't think I'm still not going to say he's a master
I don't
manipulator
know.
because I don't think
he is. I don't think he is.
No, I just don't think he's that smart. Like,
oh, that's interesting.
I really don't. I think that all he's doing is, yes, he is manipulating situations always to make sure that he's the good guy.
Yes.
That's all I think he's doing. I think that he always wants to be the good guy. He always wants to repair relationships between other people and stuff his nose in business that doesn't really need to pertain to him, to be stuffed at. But the whole thing about Melissa's mom, Teresa goes in depth, and we've known about this.
Yeah, we talked about
it for years, and we've talked about it. She goes into depth as to why she didn't invite them, and like, it's very true. Like, she didn't do the whole for March Senior where she said, oh no, yeah, you can absolutely come. She had a reason why she didn't want to invite Melissa's parents, and that reason rings true, and it's fair, and I think she's well within her right to do that. And Joe and Melissa are completely ignoring all of that, of course, obviously. But Louis wants to be the good guy. He wants to be the savior. He wants everybody to love him. I think that's his problem. I think that he always, even when his wife is collateral damage, even when he's completely just going past everything that she's saying, making her look like the bad guy, he doesn't care about that. He only cares about his image.
It's the Homelander.
And I think that's the problem.
The Homelander.
It is. It really is. Like, I think that he just wants to be loved, and he'll do anything to make sure that every person, even the people that don't know him, love him.
Yeah, well, we're gonna call it
The ironic thing is people are watching this unfold and we do not love him.
No, we don't. And I'm gonna coin that term, the Homelander complex. If
Yeah.
you watch The Boys, you'll understand that.
Yes.
But here's my one counterpoint, and not that I agree with it necessarily.
Mhm.
I think that, like you said, Teresa is well within her right in that scenario to be like, no, they're not coming to my wedding. They were assholes. My one counterpoint, and this goes back to what I've said multiple times about someone needing to swallow their pride. If this is in fact a competition, which you have alluded to many times, they are at war with one another. Somebody needs to win this game. You would get such a big leg up if you made no fuss about it
Mhm.
after this became an issue and be like, oh, you know what? No problem. I'll invite them. Because that makes you look like you're over them talking shit. You're willing to bite the bullet. You're not inviting Joe and Melissa, but you're also not causing a scene with the other stuff. I don't think that it's necessary, and I think that you are justified in not inviting them.
Mhm.
However, I think she could have really done herself a big service if she had just done it initially, because I think it would have looked really good for her and really bad for Joe and Melissa.
Initially, I agree with you initially. If she had just done it and just invited and
Yes.
let bygones be bygones, sure. But I don't agree with that now.
Now,
So
no.
if
Now,
she
no.
if she buckled today at that party and said, "You know what? It's not a big deal. Let your parents know if they want to come, they can come."
Yeah.
No, because then that makes Joe and Melissa out to be the winner.
Correct.
Because we talked about this, and you know what? Honestly, Joe could spin that into being like, you know what? No, they don't want to come anymore because they feel like slighted because they weren't invited
That's
in the first
exactly
place.
what would have
That's
happened.
exactly what would have
Yeah.
happened. So, and Teresa knows that. I think that looking at it now, like, I have respect for Teresa because she had reasons as to why she didn't invite them in the first place.
Mhm.
And she told other people who, by the way, I don't care for, and we're going to jump into this right now. I don't care for the way that these women just insert themselves into things that have absolutely nothing to do with them. I get the show aspect of it, and Teresa knows how to handle herself. So she just says, no, absolutely not. This is why I'm not doing this. So just shut the fuck up, essentially. The Danielle thing.
Oh my God.
She will now learn if you don't want your business out there about anything or you
Don't
don't want
talk
people to
about it.
question, just don't even bring it up. And I get it. Like, you're on a reality TV show, so you want to make yourself feel vulnerable. You want to relate to people. She wanted to relate to Melissa. Melissa turns around and tells fucking
Of
everybody.
course she does.
And look, Danielle did tell a couple of different people. She did talk about it at, I think, Jen Fessler's house out back. But for them to be questioning what's going on and then being like, there's got to be more.
Well, not them. Let's highlight.
Oh,
who the
no, there
culprit
is
is.
more.
I know, but the main instigator here is Jackie.
It's Jackie and Marge.
Like I
But
understand
Marge
the
is
Marge
also,
thing.
but I get it. Like, if Jackie said that, but in any real group of people ever, if one person says there's got to be more, I would imagine that 80% of the rest of the group would be like, it's none of your business. Shut the fuck up. Like,
That's what I would
we
do.
know, and we're watching this. They probably know, and obviously it's probably hard when Jackie's a friend of, and obviously she's just trying to strike down the
Doing
person
the most.
that
She's
completely
doing nothing right.
Yeah, and she's doing absolutely nothing right, and she replaced you. We get it. You feel scorned by this woman. She had nothing to do with your replacement. You stunk. Like, sucks. But you said you have to take a step back. You're not taking a step back. You were definitely demoted. But to just go after this woman and to go after her family like that, it's disgusting. And then you really do seem like Marge's true colors.
Oh yeah.
And then she starts talking about like, yeah, there's definitely got to be more there. And then Fuda is obviously on that team. And I don't think that she necessarily said anything, but she didn't say anything against it. To be
No.
like, no, you know what? Just don't worry. Like, if we want to know more, we'll just ask Danielle.
But Fuda's the one that then spilled the beans to Marge that
Mhm.
Danielle was saying shit about Marge, even though
Yes.
Danielle wasn't really talking shit about Marge. And that's when the line's drawn with that one. You're like, okay, she's team
I
here.
chalk that up to learning how to play the game, though.
Maybe. And maybe
Yeah.
she's like warming up to like her, captain of the team, so
I
to
think
speak.
so, yeah.
But back to like, I couldn't stand Jackie this whole episode. She
Mhm.
tried to start shit earlier before the party. She brings up her brother and the Instagram blocking, and like, there's got to be more there. And then you see her insert herself with Marge, says the same thing, trying to drum up some shit. The worst part, she's talking, she like slides in, like slithers in, and is like, oh my God, have you seen Jen and Bill? They're so drunk. It's so embarrassing, blah, blah, blah. It's like, stop it. Stop it. They're
Jen
not
and Bill are
hurting
having
anybody.
a blast.
And they're not hurting anybody.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, okay, Bill's rolling around on the floor. Like, kind of embarrassing.
Those poor
Whatever.
Luau girls.
Yeah, I know, right? But Jen is just, yeah, she's lit, but she's not making a mockery out of herself. She's drunk at a luau party in which other people are like, the dudes are in the corner ripping shots and
Yeah, if
waxing
anybody's
Fuda's chest.
Yeah, that's the fucking frat boy shit. I hate frats. I'm sorry if
we've
you
talked about it
are.
before.
We've talked about it before, but it's just bizarre to me. That is such a weird thing to do. And the guy, like, look, I get like John Fuda walking in with adult diapers, being like, "I thought it was nice to bring you guys some diapers."
That's
Like,
funny.
that's pretty funny. This is weird.
I
This
thought it
is
was
like
funny.
the waxing.
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
Oh.
It reminded me of like 40-Year-Old Virgin when Steve Carell gets waxed.
Yeah, but they don't do that as like an initiation thing. They do that because they want Steve Carell to get laid.
Yeah, I know. I understand the premise of the movie.
This is like, hey man, like we've got a huge party here. We're actually going to take you out back. We're going to get you really drunk, and then we're going to take your shirt off and wax you. A bunch of dudes are going to stand around in a circle
Look, man,
and wax you in front
they
of other
do
people.
this a lot. They do,
But it's
they
weird.
play with the dicks on the boat. Like,
The
it's
dicks
the
on the boat is
dynamic.
one thing. Like the constant ball jokes to Frank is weird. Joe putting Frank in his pants during the suit, like weird. But I do love that Jen was walking around, and when she went over to the cigar roller, she immediately starts smoking. She goes, "I'm not gonna lie, that stinks. It's really bad." And then later we see her wandering around with like another drink, dancing, and she still has the cigar, and she's been smoking it the whole time.
I love that.
I love that. I think Jen and Bill Bill is Bill, whatever, but Jen has really been good this year. She's been
But here's my, and I got sidetracked with the waxing of the chest. But like, here's my issue with Jackie once again. She has already highlighted to a group of women that Jen and Bill are lit off their ass.
yes.
Then she takes it upon herself after the fact, and you know it's later. This is not a production thing because originally it was lighter out, and when she goes and approaches Jen, it's dark. So like, this is later in the night. After claiming that she is hammered, you take it upon yourself to go up to her in that moment, and you're going to ask her then about her shit with Marge?
Yeah.
That's so immature. It's gaslighting. You're trying to set her up for failure. And Jen actually I was so nervous about her response.
know.
She had a good response. She's like, look, this was terrible. This like ruined a lot of things in my life. I have anxiety that my daughter is now affected by it. She wants to be a love therapist because she's traumatized from finding out about the affair. This was not the way it should have went down.
Yeah.
And then Jackie's like, well, I can understand. It's like, you don't get to lay a sympathetic ear now because you were trying to drum up shit and now you feel bad. You don't get to now play the hero and the friend that's going to comfort her. Like,
I don't think that Jackie was trying to comfort her. I think that Jackie realized that it backfired. I think that she thought she was going to get a good off the cuff raw Jen moment, and Jackie was going to be there, and Jackie was going to be the reason why that happened. Instead, Jen actually had a real response,
Yeah.
and it was pretty pointed, and it was very heartfelt, and it really made you feel bad. And Jackie's like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's like. Like, I don't think that she was a shoulder to cry on there. I don't think she was being a good friend. I think she was just trying to get a goddamn storyline because
No,
she stinks.
She was trying. No, no.
She stinks.
There's two things that I want to finish with. The first one being the issue that Marge seems to have with the enemy, like, don't get on her bad side.
I still don't get
It's
it.
not her tagline.
I'm a great friend.
I'm a great friend, but I'm a lethal enemy.
Yes.
She's just saying your tagline to you.
Pretty
So
much.
for you to take issue with that, you're just looking for reasons to get mad. But here's
Well, hold on.
Oh,
When do they do those taglines?
I don't know.
If it's preseason, then she shouldn't have any
I
issues.
think it's a few episodes in.
So if she already knew that Teresa's been saying that, she
you
may
think
have
this is a
spun it for
product
her own
of?
thing. Mm-hmm. Could be.
Maybe it could be. All right,
That's kind of dumb, but
that's dumb.
if
but
it is,
could be.
either way, it's dumb.
Yeah, but you might be onto something there.
Yeah.
But the last thing we need to talk about, because it was bizarre, and once again, Louis takes another step back. We don't have to dive too far in because we're going to talk about it next week more. This man wears his dead father-in-law's pajamas to make his stepdaughters feel more comfortable.
That was on. It's
That's when I was like, okay.
It's so
It made me physically uncomfortable.
I hate the scenes from next week when they make me feel uncomfortable because I know that I have to watch them again.
Yeah, and we didn't even get to the bottom of that
I
scene. I
know.
hope in that moment, I'm not a big Joe
You're
fan,
gonna-
but I hope Joe's like, what the fuck? Like, why are you doing that?
I
That's
would be okay
weird.
if Joe punched him in the face at that
It's
point.
just
Like
a
that is.
bizarre
We knew
thing.
Louis was weird,
But that's weird.
but
And
that's like
if Teresa condones that behavior, that's
creepy.
even weirder. Like, hey, just give me your dad's PJs. I'm just gonna throw them on.
it's gonna be really
It's gonna
comfortable
be
for
really
the
sweet
girls.
for the girls. Like, I'm gonna go walk around and they're gonna have his scent. But that takes us to the question portion, so let's dive right in. From a little bit Alexis99, at this point in the season of VPR, do you think the affair is going on?
Yeah. I think for sure. And there's a couple of telltale signs. Just finding out that Scandoval invited Raquel to the pool party, apparently by himself, and seeing the way that they interact. And obviously, we know what happens, so we're looking for these things. But I would say probably.
Yeah, I agree. I think that if you look at their body language, and again, hindsight 2020, but knowing what we know, obviously we're all being extra sleuthy and detective. It would appear so, and I think that somebody said that the rumor is the initial interaction was the boys' night.
Yeah.
So that being said, everything's pointing to yes. From kind of wonderful Tina, do you think Raquel and Sandoval will be on the show next season?
I think you have to, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think
I
there's
think
no
Lisa
way.
said that too.
Yeah.
She's like, you have to have them on.
Absolutely. I think that Bravo is probably chomping at the bit. They have so many ways it could go. You could have a redemption arc. You could have a villain arc. You could have all these crazy things. You could watch the downfall of a bar. Schwartz is like, there's too much potential.
Possibilities are endless.
You know what I mean? And that it's unfortunately all at people's expense.
Yeah, they would. Bravo would absolutely.
Why we watch it.
Bravo would absolutely drop the ball if they did not re-sign them.
Yeah, they're definitely coming back. From Silly Melly, do you think the OGs are intimidated by Dr. Nicole on Miami?
I think so.
I absolutely think so.
Absolutely.
I think
we
that's
don't even have to.
all of it. Yeah. Oh, we got a boink, marry, kill. It's been a while. We are gentlemen, so it's not F, marry, kill. It's the only time I won't say the F word.
Yeah, I think Kate Casey said boink the other day. I was like, nice,
she said boink. Yeah. Again, go listen to Kate Casey interview. The link is in our bio. But boink, marry, kill from David Coleman. Raquel, Rinna, Brandy Glanville. Solid. Well done, David.
Oh my God. I just yawned in the middle of that one. Damn.
That's the thinker.
Boink. This is weird. Boink, Brandy. Kill Raquel, marry Rinna.
Harry Hamlin seems happy.
He does.
Harry Hamlin seems happy.
Garden of your own.
Yeah, he takes walks after dinner. Again, I still want to be an after dinner walk guy, but I hate walks.
Yeah.
I think that
I just don't want to do like the star projector with Raquel.
I think the thing is, given the current climate of Bravo, if you don't say kill Raquel, then everyone's gonna come after us. So I think I'm gonna boink. I'm doing the same as you.
I just can't imagine being married to Brandy.
No, that's exactly what I was thinking. You know what? Maybe I'll marry Brandy. I'm like, no, absolutely not. I couldn't.
I think it's the only answer.
Yeah, it's the only. That's the only correct answer at the moment. Had you asked us a year ago, it would have been different. I'll go two more. Holy shit! Did we get a video question from Los?
Oh no!
Oh my god!
God damn it, Los!
Oh no, it's just a picture message of Losh. Yeah, I'm gonna call you Losh from now on, bitch. This is why it's confusing. The dynamic to me with Losh is confusing because he's coming at you.
Yeah, that's fine.
How excited are the bros for March 23rd and the premiere of Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip 3? I'm thrilled. I can't wait.
I'm not going to watch it.
That's my point, dude. Fuck you, buddy. I don't understand this.
I'm going to sit here with my arms crossed and just chime in and act like I didn't watch it, but know everything that happened.
The rivalry continues. Yep. I'll never get away from this guy. And we'll finish it up with SoCal Megan 5. 1, because it's an easy name to read, and 2, because I like this statement. Not a question, but who cares? No question. Just think y'all are awesome. The rants are my favorites. Keep them up. We will keep them up because they are completely off the cuff. We can't control ourselves. We get mad and we rant. We do this in public, too.
Yeah.
Not this loud.
I usually sit outside of a convenience store and just start ranting.
Yeah, we just pace back and forth.
The people that live there don't like it.
Yeah, no. We've gotten told to leave multiple times, but... Anyway, that does it. Oof, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, that was a good one.
What an ep.
Well, what a nice long one.
But remember, we are... Oh, I'm going to plug that in the beginning. The live show.
Oh, yeah.
But remember to get tickets to our live show April 27th, City Winery in Philly. Come hang out with the bros. It's a night out, no filter night out with Zach Peter featuring us. We got a lot of special guests coming. We're going to spill lots of tea. I think there's a ton of behind the scenes people that can weigh in on the Scandoval issue. So there'll be some interesting stuff done there. Come hang out with us. It's a cool venue. You can have dinner, drinks, all that. You sit at a table. It's buy tickets. They are actually selling pretty fast. We have like, I think 3 or 4 VIPs left out of like
Oh yeah,
5 or something. So
you get to watch us rant up close,
up close and
personal.
personal. Remember to follow us on Instagram at Brav_Bros. Follow us on Twitter at Brav_Bros. TikTok at BravBros. YouTube at BravBros Podcast. That's how you plug.
There you go.
Be on the lookout next Monday. Our Carl interview is dropping after Summer House.
Yes.
Other than that, you got anything else?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, me neither. Brav Bros are out of here.
Later.
Bye.